Greetings, everyone. I am Rockel Jones, and I am here to first tell you that I have a website, and it's called Balance Living Body and Spirit. I believe that you should balance your body and your spirit. As you nourish your spiritual life, you should take care of your physical body as well. So today we're going to be talking about taking good care of your body. And I'm so excited to introduce to you a special guest that I have with me. His name is Dr. John Artis, and he's the proprietor of Health on Earth. It's located in Tinley Park, a beautiful facility, and Dr. Artis is a wealth of information. So he has so much to share with you today. I'm excited to present him to you. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring to you Dr. John Artis. He's going to tell you a little bit about himself, his education, his family, and his faith. Dr. John Artis.
Hi. Thank you, Ms. Jones. I'm glad we can finally do this.
Yeah.
We've been talking about interviewing and doing this for a while, but I'm glad we can make it happen.
Absolutely.
But I'm just a living example of what God can do when you surrender, when you just kind of let go. I think we all have a plan for our lives, but God may have a different plan for us.
Yes.
And it's important that we go with what He chooses versus most of the time what we want.
Yes.
And so you will be amazed. This far exceeded my expectations and what I wanted and what I thought I was going to be doing. So, I mean, I don't look at, me being a chiropractor is one thing. I always tell people this, I never chose chiropractic chose me. Because I was a patient first. And then I was in an industry that is totally against what chiropractic stands for, the pharmaceutical industry. So.
All right. Wonderful. Well, I asked you, why did you choose? I mean, I had planned on asking you, how did you happen to choose chiropractor, to be a chiropractor? And you said that it sort of chose you.
Yes, ma'am.
And can you go into that a little bit more?
Okay. So I grew up, I always tell, I grew up a skinny pot-bellied kid in North Carolina, loved to eat, sweets, everything. I just always ate. I had my grandma, they called me a bottomless pit. I used to eat so much. As my grandmother and my mother. But I had allergies and didn't really know. The testing now versus, 30, 40 years ago is totally different. But I had suffered from asthma, digestive issues, and I didn't even think anything was wrong. I just thought that was normal. Long story short, I go to North Carolina A&T State University. I want to be a veterinarian. I go to a bridge program down at Tuskegee, went down to Tuskegee to visit. Turns out I take an allergy test and I'm allergic to a lot of different animals. So veterinary school, I started looking at other options, was out. Then I go into pharmaceutical research. And then at that time too, I started looking at pharmaceutical sales. But then before that happened, I ended up going to a chiropractor and it completely changed my life.
Wow.
So I went from, chronic allergies and asthma, even in my early 20s to the point where I went to a chiropractor, I noticed I started getting adjusted. Mm-hmm. And when they started adjusting the spine, it was taking pressure off my nerves, which allowed my body to function better. And then I haven't used an asthma pump since 2000. Wow. So it completely changed my life. So from that point, the chiropractor was like, you should become a chiropractor. You should consider, becoming a chiropractor. And I started looking into the profession, and I think it just got a hold of my spirit. And next thing you know, I had my Penske truck packed, and I was leaving the Washington, D.C. area, going to be a chiropractor. Wow. And here I am today.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. The Lord also has His hand in our plans when we decide to not just do things on our own. Mm-hmm. God, we have plans, but God has a better plan.
Right, exactly.
So I believe that God really led you to this. What ailments do you treat?
But first of all, let me say this. People always think chiropractic is about bones and pain and when you get in a car accident. When I remember telling my mother, I was going to a chiropractor and she was, I didn't know you got in a car accident. Was her, like, that's the limited knowledge that most people think about chiropractic. It's like, if you get in an accident or, if you slip or you fall or you have some kind of pain. But chiropractic is so much more about that. We treat a variety of conditions. A lot of times, we don't specifically aim to treat the condition of what the patient comes in for. Mm-hmm. We just remove pressure off the nervous system and then the body begins to heal itself. So what happens is chiropractic to me is a very spiritual profession because people come in with low back pain, right? And they might not tell me other ailments they might have. Like they might not tell me they're constipated, or they might have sexual dysfunction, or they might have other conditions. And what happens is when we start adjusting the spine and taking the pressure off the nerves that supply that area, everything else starts to work.
Wow.
So I truly believe, and I'm a living example, that God made the body to heal itself. All it needs is no interference.
Okay.
And so when I adjust the bones, I remove the interference and allow innate to do what it's supposed to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And that's something that a lot of us are not aware of.
Right.
I have another question for you. As a chiropractor, what is your biggest challenge?
Biggest challenge for me is changing the beliefs that people have about chiropractic. They think it's all about, like I said, back pain, or they think it's about this. They think once their pain is gone that they actually don't need a chiropractor anymore, and that's absolutely not true. We have these different things that actually can cause our body to shift called subluxation. And when the vertebrae shifts and it puts pressure on the nerves, or it could be muscles that tighten up, when that happens, that can actually decrease function on whatever that nerve's supplying. So what happens is people think that because they have no pain, that there's nothing wrong. You can actually have no pain and have a joint that's totally degenerated. And so what my thing is to educate people that pain is the last thing to show up and the very first thing to go away.
Okay.
If you have pain, you've already had the condition, unless you got in some kind of immediate accident. And then if the pain goes away, that still does not mean the joint is healed. So that's the biggest misconception that I would say.
Okay. That's good to know, because without pain, you feel like you're just okay.
Right.
But and even after you come and the pain is relieved, you're saying we still need a chiropractor.
We still need a chiropractor. You still need to have your spine checked. And the thing about that too is that people, that's one of the reasons the biggest problems in the United States is the fact that people associate how they feel with their health.
Okay.
And we can have people that feel great and have cancer.
Okay.
We can have people that feel great and still have degenerative joint disease or degenerative disc disease. So you can't base your health on how you feel, you have to base it on how you function.
Great, good point. That's wonderful. That's good to know. Here's a question that a lot of people may have. Why do we need chiropractors if we have doctors?
Good. Chiropractors, we serve a specific purpose of removing a dangerous condition called subluxation from the spine and actually keeping the joints moving, making sure that the body is strong enough to support itself. What I do as a chiropractor is I keep the spine from collapsing. So what I do is I actually help to build strength in the spine. One of my biggest things that I always share with my patients is that the best insurance policy you could give yourself is strength in the spine. That's something that we lose as we get older and gravity starts to take over, and then we start doing this.
Okay.
That's because we lose strength and gravity starts to pull us down. One of the things that what I do is specifically with my patients is work with actually bringing them up to actually help their body so it can support itself.
Okay. That's wonderful. And I think I didn't mention in the beginning, Dr. Artis is my chiropractor, and he is wonderful. He's very good. What type of treatment, I want you to let the people know what type of treatment they can expect to get when they come to your healthcare facility.
So the number one thing is to, first of all, establish a proper diagnosis. So you want to make sure that you do a thorough examination and evaluation of the patient, and then we also followed up with x-rays. We want to see what the spine looks like. That's very important. See is to know. If not, you're kind of guessing. And then we put together what we think is the best form of treatment or the best route to actually help that patient get to where they need to be. The second thing that we do is we start with low force adjustments. I mean, I have patients from babies all the way up into their 90s. So I have a wide variety of patients, and everybody's spine is different. So some people might require a little bit more pressure to move a certain vertebrae or bone, or some people might require a little bit less. And it's just, that's where the skill of the doctor comes in to be able to discern, how much pressure to apply. Because you can break bones, you can do a lot of different things if you don't know what you're doing.
Okay, absolutely. That's wonderful. We can see you have a wide variety of patients. You know what? When I come in, I always receive an adjustment, and I know that, people think of chiropractors coming in, you're getting cracked and everything. Tell us exactly, what does an adjustment, do?
Okay, so first I want to address one concern.
Okay.
Like as a chiropractor, we don't crack anything. We adjust, and it's a specific scientific adjustment that removes that pressure. I always tell a joke with my patients: you crack an egg, you don't crack it. So it's just that what they get consumed with is the popping sound that the joint makes when you actually give an adjustment to the spine. So when you actually give an adjustment to the spine, it releases air, and that's what gives it that popping sound.
Okay.
Each joint is held together by what we call a zygapophyseal joint, which is like a suction, okay, that actually keeps the joint together.
Mm-hmm.
When you actually stress that joint, it releases that air, which gives it that popping sound. That's not the adjustment. The adjustment is me moving the bone. Sometimes you might get a popping sound, sometimes you might not. But what happens with that adjustment, the body releases endorphins. And these endorphins are like the feel-good things. Sometimes if people are toxic, that's why they feel lightheaded. That's why they might feel sore, because their body's releasing a lot of these different toxins. And that's one of my main things, is make sure you drink plenty of water once you start getting adjusted, because your body's gonna start releasing a lot of that stuff.
Okay, that clears up that question about the popping sound.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have another question. Let me say this. When I come into Dr. Artis's facility, it is filled with music.
Mm-hmm.
The atmosphere is filled with music, which is a good thing, I think. But I want you to explain, what is the purpose of the music?
The purpose of the music is to create an environment that instills the joy of healing. Like, healing doesn't always have to hurt. It doesn't always have to not feel good. And then we use uplifting music to change that person's physiology. So when you're talking about changing that physiology, you can change the mindset. Like, some people that come in our office, this might be the only positive thing they might have in their life that day. Mm-hmm. And so what we do is we aim to actually create an environment to the point where when you come in here, you're gonna feel better by the time you leave. So we use a lot of uplifting, upbeat music. We don't play the slow jazz music where you can fall asleep, or you falling over doing your therapies, or you might reminisce about an old boyfriend or something. No, this is all about getting your life in the best position it can be, feeling good, being energetic. That's where we can actually shift our energy and help change the world.
Okay, and he's absolutely right. The music is so uplifting. When I come in, the exercises or procedures, I try to do it to the beat of the music. That makes it a little bit easier.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really uplifting. Let me say this too. Do you or have you done anything to outreach to the community to help educate them regarding health topics?
I do. I speak probably 3 to 4 times a month at various venues in the community. As a matter of fact, next weekend I'll be speaking at a women's retreat in Chicago on the 14th. But I try to get out there and I speak on various topics. I have signature talks. You can book me by calling my office or sending me an email via Facebook or my website, and that way we can actually look and see if it fits with the schedule and if it's something that we can do to make an impact. The best thing as chiropractors, not only as chiropractors, but anybody that's in business that you could do, is get out and share your message. And you have to learn how to public speak and get in front of people and speak with passion. We don't aim to be perfect. We just aim to actually inform you about the decisions that we need to make in our lives to make it better.
Wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. Now, my last question for you is, what is the most rewarding part of your job?
The most rewarding part of my job is, number one, is seeing people come in and them seeing that they are having a hard time getting them actually not being able to see themselves getting better, and them actually getting better. Like, I give an example, the young lady that was a model at Eastern Illinois that had lost the function of her legs, and seeing her now to where she's back modeling again, she's had a baby. I mean, seeing stories like that really changes your life. Not only that, just seeing the impact of not only just my people, but I also invest in my employees. I really believe that once you come work for me, I want you to leave being a better person. And so I honestly just pour everything I got. I believe in serving and just making people around me better.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, if people want to contact you, how can they do that?
You can contact me at www.healthonearth.org. I'm at Health on Earth Chiropractic and Rehab on Instagram, Facebook, any form of media. My email address is drjohnartis@gmail.com. The office phone number is 708-614-1414 is the best way to contact me.
Okay, well, there you have it. We've had this wonderful time with Dr. John Artis. I am sure that you have been enlightened. As I told you, he's a wealth of information, and these are good things that you need to know. And I want to remind you to balance your life, both body and spirit. Today, we were emphasizing the body, and it's important for you to know these things. So I hope you will get some balance in your life. You'll be so glad you did.
That was